Hey, I'm live again. And so we're going to try again to get Dr. B and see if this particular connection is better. If you're just tuning in, I am Michael B. Beckwith, the founder of Agape International Spiritual Center. Many of you have signed up for my app, Beckwith Inspires. You've gone to michaelbbeckwith.tv. You subscribe to it. You've gone to the App Store. You've downloaded it. And that's a beautiful thing. Many of you are watching me on Sundays at agapelive.com or on Agape on my Facebook page, the Way of Meditation service, and the other services as well. And so welcome back to IG Live with Michael B. Beckwith. We're going to bring on Dr. B. Sirius. If you're just tuning in, he's a leading mind, body, and spirit medicine man, certified master herbalist, natural remedy formulator, wellness educator, vibrational healing music pioneer. His clients spanning 6 continents who trust him with their emotional, physical, mental well-being. He founded the Elevation Foundation for Abundant Life, a private membership holistic wellness organization comprised of metaphysicians, herbalists, naturopaths, educators, healers, researchers, and creative artists, committed to sharing insights into health, wellness, and wholeness, and assisting seekers searching for a natural path to an elevated quality of life, ultimately helping to create sustainability and a healthier planet. He's about to come on in just a second. He believes that by addressing the root cause of our imbalances and deficiencies, we create a way of living that promotes not only physical health, but births an energetic shift to help optimize our true potential as vibrant beings on the planet. Dr. B, good afternoon to you, brother.
Good day, brother. How are you?
Strong, man. I know it's early evening for you. It's the afternoon for us because you're in Atlanta, Georgia. Am I correct?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Very good. So I was just breaking down for the folks who you were, for those of you who didn't know who Dr. B is, this wonderful metaphysical herbalist, natural remedy formulator, assists people in clearing up blocks in their subjective mind, creates magnificent healing music that detoxes and uplifts. And thank you for being with me today, brother.
I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to finally be with you. You're looking good.
Absolutely. I'm looking good. All right. Well, there you go. I still got a little platinum left.
Yeah, that platinum.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, here's a wonderful formula that I use, and it's really vivifying. It's really beautiful formula. So listen, one of my staff members said, before you guys get into your interview, ask him what his name means. Dr. B. Sirius. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your name, and I know both of us have something in common. We're very close to Brother Dick Gregory.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And you do a lot of things for a lot of people. So how would you describe yourself? Other than
I started out in the music industry, and I was a very successful music producer. In fact, my company did the very first hip hop records in Southern California. We started the whole hip hop scene. But before that, I was a jazz, spiritual, African in world music. And being in the music business, that fast life, living that life, I got sick. And I was given a very short time to live. So at that point, I jumped into natural health. And I did everything I could, studied everything, went everywhere to find out how to heal myself. Since I realized there was no cures for the autoimmune system situation that I had. And basically that led me to all the information on holism. And then I began to study metaphysics and energy and quantum physics. And I met a man named Dr. Kwaku Anda Dogon priest. And he basically told me my name. He said, your name now is Dr. B. Sirius. Doctor means a teacher of the crossing and the breath of life. The T has to do with a crossing new places. Doc means to document or to teach, and the ah is the breath. The B has to do with the being, to be or not to be like the bumblebee and float and be able to hover. And also the Sirius has to do with this star B Sirius, which they say my energy beams in from the brightest star in the sky, B Sirius. So you have Dr. B Sirius. And that's how it all came about. And I was taught by a lot. I have 13 mentors. So I've got a lot of knowledge that was given to me by some wonderful people.
Absolutely. Well, my staff members will be very happy because she wanted to know where that name come from and what it meant, and you broke it down perfectly. You were also very close to Brother Dick Gregory.
Yes, in 1996, I was doing a lecture, and Mr. Dick Gregory walked in, and afterwards he came over and he whispered in my ear. He says, "I like what you're doing. Keep it funny." He comes back 6 months later. 6 months later, he comes back, and I'm mad because I realized all the companies and all the businesses that were involved in, the medical fraud and the, iatrogenics. I had got crazy, man, and became a militant, and I was wearing military clothes, and I'm doing this lecture, and Dick Gregory comes back and he says, "Listen, they're going to kill you because you're going too direct. Put the fun back in it, man. Put the fun, put the love back in it." And he says, "I'll be watching you from now on." And that was 1996, and from then on, we became close. He became my mentor. I became his herbalist. We put together many products together, and it was wonderful, powerful, huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation with you is because I was sharing with the Agape Nation a few weeks ago that I took a dive into the news cycle. I don't do that often, but yes. I do take a dive into the news cycle just to see what's being said, what level of hypnotism is going on, what people are
yes.
being trained into. I just want to know what's happening. I just dive in to see. And I noticed that the primary conversation, even the commercials, were around masks and washing hands. But
yes.
There was no information around the immune system. There's no information around supplementation, diet, hydration, exercise, vitamin D. The masses weren't getting anything valuable in terms of keeping themselves healthy. They were just given, please wear a mask and please wash your hands. Now, we were already washing our hands before COVID, so that's not any new information. If you were washing your hands before COVID, then there's an issue because we have a social contract. The social contract says if you go out your house, you have showered and washed your hands. If you're going to put your hands in a bowl of nuts, we're assuming they're clean. So I wanted somebody of your experience to come on and have a conversation about that. I know you've noticed the same thing.
Yes, I have. And, it's interesting that anything natural is usually kept kind of quiet in the background because that liberates people to be able to take care of themselves instead of waiting for a cure and waiting for something like that. But this natural earth medicine has been here forever. And, I know we figured grandma was a little crazy, but grandma was on it, and she said, to do those things and wash your hands and eat your vegetables and your fruits and things like that. So we, as a masses, we've kind of drifted away from that. And one of the things I was prepared for was this event because 2 years ago, before Mr. Dick Gregory passed, he says, "Listen, 2019 is going to start a sequence of events that's going to come to a peak in 2020. You're going to be needed." He says, "It's very important. Everything is going to change in 2020. It's going to be about the health of the mind and the body." And he says, "You're going to have to be on it." What's interesting is that the knowledge about our immune system is the most important thing. We're talking about the mental, physical, and spiritual immune system and being able to separate ourselves from what the mainstream is selling or whatever they're talking or whatever is being sold. But one of the main things that we need to remember is the old vitamin C. Vitamin C is incredible because what it does is it creates a force field around your cells. Vitamin C keeps the DNA of the cell intact and keeps things from bombarding it. You see things like free radicals and oxidation and things like that. So vitamin C is important, but the type of vitamin C is even more important because a lot of people are using the acidic version of vitamin C, which your body has to try to break down and make it alkaline. So there are already alkaline types of vitamin C, which enters your cell much easier. Your body doesn't have to convert it and use so much energy. So alkaline forms of vitamin C are things like the camu camu berry, the baobab tree from Africa, what they call the Arisola berry, or amla, which is from India, from the Ayurvedic, tradition. Those are traditional forms of vitamin C which enter your cells quickly, and you don't need as much of it. So vitamin C is very important. Zinc is extremely important.
Let's go back 1 second because people don't realize that that vitamin C, your body doesn't produce vitamin C. You actually have to eat vitamin C through vegetables, fruits, and good supplementation. Yeah.
Yes. And broccoli, you know, interesting
Right.
enough, broccoli is high in vitamin C. Bananas are high in vitamin C. Jackfruit. Oh my gosh, jackfruit has got so many nutrients in it. It's amazing if you can get it, depending on the season. But you know, any berry, all berries are high in vitamin C, but they're also high in these what we call far infrared light components. In other words, what they do is they go in your cell and they enlighten the cell. They turn the cell on and give that cell, you know, electricity. Your body needs electricity. We are a bioelectric beings. We're photovoltaic. We turn light into energy, you know. So we need that far infrared light from things like blueberries. Any of the berries are going to help your immune system. And interesting enough, you know, blueberries or bilberries are called vaccinium. And did you know that the word vaccine was derived from the word vaccinium? And vaccinium goes into your immune system, turns it on, and it also helps to bring down the stress level. Because if you have a high stress level, you know, your immune system shuts off. When you're stressed out, when you're watching the news and you're worried and, oh boy, there's a boogeyman at your window, may come in and, you know what I'm saying? And there's something bad every day, something is going to hurt you, your immune system stops working. But when you're happy and joyful, when you have that smile like you have right now, Michael, your immune system is going to work perfectly. You see, because it's going to respond quickly, because when there's an emergency or you're in fight or flight, the blood flow has to go to the muscles. It goes to the extremities. So it says, hey, man, there's a saber-toothed dog after us. You know what I'm saying? Run. Right. But you never run because it's just on television. You know what I'm saying? It's just a rumor that you heard, you see? But things like meditation and things like that and sitting quietly and earthing, putting your naked feet on the soil or at least grabbing a tree, that begins to turn your immune system on right away.
That right there. Absolutely. Now,
quickly.
Yeah. Now, I know you can go for days on this, and we're going to give you an opportunity. I interrupted you after the vitamin C and the berries. You're about to break down some more things that would assist people in building their immune system or stabilizing it.
So yeah, zinc is very important. Zinc keeps things that are disagreeable, things that are what we call positively charged particles, from replicating themselves. See, like a virus is not a thing that you think it is. It's just toxins from your cells. It's your cell putting out poison that was in that cell. Now, these things, some kind of way, almost like on Star Trek with the Borg, they become like machines and they take over and they do a cell jacking. You know, I used to do carjackings back in the day. They do a cell jacking. So they're not intelligent. They're not trying to kill you. Thus toxicity coming out of your body. But those toxic things get in the cell and the cell begins to replicate. What zinc does is it scrambles that cell and it keeps it from replicating. Zinc is very important. One of the best places to get zinc is going to be pumpkin seeds. This is why the pumpkin is so important, and it comes in fall. The jack-o'-lantern is a whole deep story. The lantern of God. You see what I'm saying? Because the meat and the color and the seeds in that pumpkin are going to protect you from the fall. You see, in the fall, you know, the sun drops, so, you know, our immunity changes. Another thing that's very important is going to be vitamin D3. Vitamin D3, you got to have vitamin D3. And, you know, I suggest people do at least 5,000 international units a day, because that's, you know, because of where we live in North America, we're not getting those direct rays of sun. So we're not able to convert it into enough energy. So using a supplement, and usually it comes from, like, you know, sunflower seeds, things like that. There's another one that comes from lanolin. You know, they take it from the hair or the fur, or what is it called, of the sheep. You know, the wool of the sheep. So there's two types of vitamin D3 you can buy, you know, in most stores. So those things are essential. Green foods. You know, anything green is going to have a lot of magnesium. You need magnesium because magnesium tells your hormones what to do. It's the director. She's a feminine element, tells your hormones where to go, what to do. Magnesium is one of those things that's one of the deficiencies in North America. And one of the things that has a lot of vitamin, magnesium is cacao.
I was going to say that. Most people are deficient in magnesium.
Cacao. Most people are deficient in vitamin C. 2 number 1 deficiencies on the planet. You see, so we need that magnesium, and then you need vitamin C to break down all your minerals, because you could take all the minerals in the world. If you don't have vitamin C, your body can't break them down and make them absorbable. So you just got, a lot of people just have expensive urine. You know what I'm saying? So
right. It's just coming in and going out.
It's coming in and going out. So you need that vitamin C. So those things are essential. You see, now there's herbs that actually can help with helping to bolster your immune system and give you a better immune response. The thing is that most people, today we hear, because everybody's an herbalist today. Everybody knows herbs. It's just, it's good that it's mainstream now, but herbs work best in combinations. You have to know which combinations to use at what time of year, and every herb isn't the same. So let's say olive leaf. Olive leaf is very good for the immune system. Very good. But there's like 12 different types of olive leaf. Where did it grow? What were the minerals in the soil? What was the vibration on the planet? What was the magnetism? Did it grow near any of the ley lines? You see, so like in most of my products, I use a type of olive leaf that comes from Africa, because it's right near the equator. So it has more bioelectric energy in it, you see. But, even if you can just get olive leaf, that's another one that's really, really, really good. And knowing which herbs to take at what time, because some herbs you shouldn't just take all day long. You just can't, guzzle these things down and think they're going to work. So this is where, where I've been a formulator for many, many, many years, ever since like 1994. Actually, I started formulating way before I came out, but I basically learned the combinations, and I studied Eastern, Western. I studied medicines from the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. All of these things are what I studied because I was doing it for myself. It was Stevie Wonder and this other brother, Carl Nelson, who made me go public, because I wasn't trying to go public with this. I was just working on myself. But they noticed the transformation that I went through from the music industry and, basically walking in the studio half dead to coming in with hair again. My skin was clear. I could see. I had dropped 85 pounds and, I could speak again. So they urged me to go on radio station there in Los Angeles in 1996. And that's when things got big. But what I realized was the combination of herbs worked better when you used essential oils, flower essences, and also crystal elixirs. Yeah. So when I began to formulate, I just didn't use herbs, because I realized herbs, after they're cooked and they're picked, you know what I'm saying? You've boiled them, you've processed them. You needed another type of energy. So I deal a lot with what they call biophotons, which is light energy that's coming from your body. All things emit and absorb biophotons. In fact, that's what your genes are waiting to receive, is the biophotonic vibration coming from your environment. That's what causes your genes to unfold. So I began to study things that could help to change the way we absorb the biophotons. And that's when I said crystal elixirs. So I picked out certain crystals and we turn it into this elixir. And then, because I've been in music most of my life, as you can see, I'm in my recording studio. I realized that vibration was everything.
Absolutely.
And
I know you're speaking my language.
Yes, it's like, like when you were. So I was watching you on Sunday and you were dancing. You were actually, when you mentioned the dervishes and all of those things, I said, yeah, he's doing the dance. So even if you don't hear what he's saying, the movement that he has is setting up a vortex. I was watching everything you were doing. You were setting up a vortex which pulls people in and pulls them past their conscious mind, because their conscious mind and the ego is usually the blockage. You see, it's like, somebody told me, Dick Gregory said, the problem is most people are goddamned. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, they're damned up. There's a channel going from the top of the head straight through to the earth, and they've got blockage, and the blockage is all in their third chakra, and they're damming up the channel of energy going through the vagus nerve. He said, Dr. B, you got to fix that. So, but I realized that certain crystals can do it if you use them and make them into an elixir. You see, so what
do you actually do? You take certain crystals like rose quartz and other crystals, and you actually break them down in your crystal elixirs? I mean, how do you do that?
Well, what we do is we take
without
the
giving away any proprietary secrets.
I can give it all away. You can't do what I do anyway, because there's a me piece in there.
Right.
So I actually give things away, but I love teaching. So what we do is we take certain crystals and put them in water. You put them in distilled water and you let them sit for a certain amount of time. And you also need copper. There has to be copper in that water. And you create a piezoelectric water. You see, you got to have a little bit of Celtic sea salt in that water too. But what happens is the crystallized energy begins to absorb into the water. It's actually not even water anymore. You see, and when I use that in the herbal substances, along with one key thing called fulvic acid. Fulvic acid is the key. A lot of people say, well, Dr. B, I've used everybody's herbs. Why is yours so different? Because of this fulvic acid. A friend of mine is the #1 scientist in the world on fulvic acid. Fulvic acid, humic acid, those things that grow in that soil that has everything in it. Okay?
Right.
And this fulvic acid is like taking your herbal substance or whatever you're taking and putting it on a freight train and jamming it into the core of the cell. Goes right to the mitochondria. You see, so I use fulvic acid and I use these crystal elixirs. And another beautiful thing is the flower essences. Flower essences, that's the highest expression of a plant. It's the flower just before it becomes a seed. So flower essences, what they can do is tap you back into your spiritual vibration. Man, I used to be crazy sometimes because I'm dealing with so many clients and I'm going through so many things. People are calling me. They want me to heal their broken body over the phone right now. They're in the ambulance. People will call me from an ambulance. Dr. B, I'm in the ambulance. Listen, I'm going to the hospital. Can you meet me there and bring me some cayenne pepper? I mean, it used to get crazy. So I was stressed out until I got into the flower essences and I calmed down and I remembered how to connect to my original self. And this works on a quantum physics on a whole nother level. Flower essences are very mystical. Then I met the beautiful people up at FES, Flower Essence Services. And oh my gosh, those people are beautiful and they live with the plants. But when you use these flower essences,
they feel like flowers.
They look like flowers. You've met them. There's the guy with the jacket. He's talking like he's talking like a plant.
It's like, yeah.
Yes. So it's amazing. Yeah. They talk really slow, calm down, sit down, take some of this. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand flower essences because I'm an herbalist. Herbalists, we're more into the core, the root, the minerals, the elements. And I'm like, this is not doing anything. I can't read it on my spectrometer. What is it doing? But then I began to study and I began to realize that these things can reconnect you to your real. See, there's light beams coming because you're not in the body. You know what I'm saying? Your body's like a television set. You turn the television off, right? The signal's still coming. So what the flower essences do is they help clear up the channel. The channels to who you truly are. Right. You see? So I began to put some of those in the herbal substances so people could calm down and remember the earth medicine because people forgot it. On an energetic level, they forgot.
People are running to the hospital when they need to be running to their herbalist, not for a broken leg.
No, broken leg.
They need to be running to more of the natural remedies, the way you started off, like grandmama did. I remember my boy down the street had asthma. And his aunt took a piece of his hair, took some herbs, and stuck it in a tree, whispered something into the tree. His asthma disappeared.
Yes. And you know what's interesting? I was talking to my grandmother before she passed, and she said, you got into this herbal thing, and you know where you got this from. I said, where? She said, from Willie. I said, who, Willie? My father? She says, no, my great-great-grandfather from India. I says, well, who is Willie? I never heard of Willie. Well, he was a healer. He was what they call one of the little people. They call them untouchables now in India. And she says he was an Indian healer and he went to Africa to get some herbs and he got caught in the slave boat, but through the slave net. They brought him to the plantation here and they took off his diadem, his headpiece, and his hair went down to his knees and it was straight. So they cut his hair. They thought he was different. So they put him up in the big house and he began they taught him to read, but he made shoes with acupuncture points. And he was healing people through shoes and herbs. My great-great-great-great-grandfather from India has a monument in Cuthbert, Georgia, in an all-white cemetery. They have a monument to him as a great healer because of these shoes and the herbs he used to make. Wow. So my grandmother says, you think this is just you. Wow. No, this is coming to you. And he says, all of us in the family have been healers. We have always been in the herbs. So it's not just you. So don't get your ego together. And she said something really important. This was the last thing my grandmother said to me before she made her transition. She says, listen, don't ever leave home without a prayer. Everywhere you go, you need a prayer, a meditation, a statement. You need something that gives you focus. Otherwise, the world will keep you unfocused and you will drift.
Basic metaphysics.
Woo!
Basic metaphysics. Have your prayer, have your meditation, have your declaration before you walk out the door.
Yes.
Because most people are suffering from an intention deficit disorder. They have no intention, they have no attention, and the world hijacks their mind.
Yes.
And the next thing you know, they're worried about something, they're in fear, they're in doubt, their emotions are all crazy because they have no intention. Your grandmother knew.
And Stevie Wonder said, if you believe in things you don't understand, then you suffer. There's so many things that you hear. You know, a lot of things you hear, and there's cognitive dissonance, and there's a little, you feel something. This doesn't feel right. But since the mainstream is all into it, you follow. You see, but we all have an innate intelligence, but you got to feed your cells. If your mitochondria doesn't have enough of the correct food, if your cellular matrix is struggling because of what we've eaten, because of what we've done, if your DNA is expressing itself based on an environment that you're not totally in control of. I mean, I do this thing called subconscious alignment. And I got this from Dr. Bruce Lipton because I realized that herbs weren't everything. I said, something else is going on with people because, you know, my place on Pico, you know, people would come there and they take the herbs, they do my programs, and they'd be really healthy for about 2 years. They would come back in 2 years with the illness they had 2 years before. Couldn't figure it out. So basically I quit. I stopped lecturing. I said, something else is going on. And my son was really young and he was sitting, he was like 2 years old, sitting on the side of my computer desk, and he hits the keyboard. And all of a sudden it goes to Dr. Bruce Lipton. It's the biology of belief. I'm like, well, who is this guy? And I started listening to him. And then I called him, you know, called, and he was like, listen, I don't know what you need to do. Get these books, blah, 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 blah. So one day I wanted to know, how can we fix this problem where the genes are, you know, being affected by the environment? You know, this whole thing about gene determination, you know, was a big issue. We believed in that. It's the genes. It's in your genes. It's in your family. Because I wanted to know why did my grandmother and grandfather, because, you know, a whole lot of my grandmother and grandfather had 23 children. Wow. 20, I think it was 22 or something. It was a lot of them. But I wanted to know that since a lot of people in the family had cancer, how come my grandmother and grandfather didn't have cancer? I asked my doctor that when he was about to put on that long glove and do that prostate check. I said, that right there is going to cause the problem. What are you going to do? You know, who he says, well, we got to check your prostate. My prostate is doing well. I'm telling it, it's doing well. I know how to. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. He says, well, Dr. B, you got to be careful because it runs in your family. I says, it does? Really? Well, how come my grandmother and grandfather didn't have it? He says, well, what do you mean? They didn't have anything. And he looked at me. I guess, you know, at that point, I'm a little trouble. You know what I'm saying? So when I meet, you know, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he starts breaking this stuff down, I'm studying everything. I'm watching all of his videos because, you know, he gets real deep at some point. So you got to have both sides of your brain working because he's working both sides.
Absolutely.
But my question was, what can we do? He said, well, look, I have some friends who are working on something that could help. And it's something called psychological kinesiology. You should go check it out. I go to the class and I study the psychological kinesiology, and it changes everything. A really good book on this is Power versus Force, by the way. Absolutely. Very good book. Very good book.
You brought up two of my friends. I mean, Bruce and I are buddies.
Yes.
Because we do a lot of the similar work. Obviously, he's doing it from a biological point of view. I'm doing it from a spiritual point of view. And David Hawkins and I were very close.
Wow.
We did seminars together, and so you're talking about my peeps.
Yeah, man. You know, and I actually, you know, I met Ruiz at your place. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Miguel Ruiz. I met him in fact, I think you introduced us. I have a picture of us together. At Agape. But, you know, and that 4 agreements is another one, man. You got to have 4 agreements. You know, you got to have it clear. You got to know who you are when you walk out that door. You just can't take herbs and try to be a vegan. You know, I'm a vegan. People get an ego. I'm a vegan. I'm not going to catch anything. Well, you are, because you're living in this world. You're breathing this air. You know what I'm saying? There's microwaves and gamma rays and all kinds of stuff everywhere.
Cell
So you can't let your
phones,
ego,
TVs,
and all of that, you know. So there's other things that we must do to really be on top right now. And at this point in 2020, there's a huge advantage here because there's a shift. People are waking up everywhere that were asleep for 6,000 years. That's a whole nother story, the 6,000 years sleep. But you know, when you start studying,
it was a global Rip Van Winkle that's finally waking up.
I like that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
But Dick Gregory told me, he says, man, study the 26,000 year calendar and you'll get it. Study the 26,000 year calendar and figure out where we are right now. He says, we're going back towards the matriarchal time, leaning back towards the center of the galaxy. And we're going to soon reach that point where we can get back and connect with Hanab Ku. I'm saying, Hanab Ku? Who are these people? I don't remember him living in the neighborhood. Hanab Ku, you know, but it has a lot to do with the ancient people they knew. You know what I'm saying? And this is, you know, people like even with the pyramids, how is it that they're always pointing at the same stars, even though the whole earth and everything has moved? Because they're moving. These things are flexible. We have to become more flexible and keep our eyes on the star, which is what consideration means. I have to take that in consideration, Dr. B. It's a consideration. Let me look that word up. It means to let the star's energy come to you because the stars have so much more energy than just the sun alone. You see, we all are stars. We're star material, but we've got to feed that star material. So
we're pure light.
Pure light, the original light, the black light.
Right, with pure light. Absolutely.
So, you know, when I began to study this.
Listen, I knew once I brought you on here, because we've known each other for a long time, I knew I could just turn you on and let you roll. Because I really wanted people, no, seriously, I just really wanted people to begin to hear a different conversation. Than the conversation that's out there in the mainstream media. And as you say, people have they've left the fundamentals. They've left that which has worked for thousands of years. Every medicine man in every culture have very similar practices. They go to the roots, they go to the herbs, they go to the fruits, they go to the vegetables, they go to the soil, they go to the water, they go to the minerals, you know, and we live in a society where we have a sick care system, not a health care system, and they've lost their way. You know, they can do surgeries, and they can fix broken bones, If you get in a car accident, they can put you back together to a degree, you know. But they've lost their way in terms of healing. They're not even trying to heal. They're trying to alleviate a symptom. Give you some, basically some pharmaceutical things to alleviate the pain that has its own set of side effects. So I really wanted to bring somebody on that hadn't lost their way, that's rooted in the eternal and the timeless and the ancient ways. So people begin to think again, you know what? Where does aspirin even come from? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You know, begin to think that you don't have an Excedrin deficiency when you have a headache. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, we want people to come back to themselves. And you've mentioned prayer, meditation, make a declaration, get your vitamin C, get your vitamin D, get your zinc. What about enzymes?
Enzymes are very important, especially the systemic enzymes. Those systemic enzymes, because enzymes are kind of...
I wanted you to say it because I've been saying it, but I wanted you to say it out of your mouth.
Yes, the systemic enzymes are important because they do the work. They're the heavy lifters. You know what I'm saying? They're electrical things that go in and do the work. And if you don't have enough enzymes, then you get tired, you get burned out, you begin to age. You know, there's several different types of enzymes. Like there are enzymes that basically break down the extra plaque and, you know, calcium buildup in your body. You know, one of the things that a lot of people have is they have a lot of fluoride in their system from the water. And the biggest fluoride mine in the world is in Orlando, Florida. There's a really good movie, Water, The Great Culling, Water. Gotta watch it. Breaks down fluoride. But fluoride causes your glands to calcify. But when you use systemic enzymes, especially the ones from plants and the ones from the silkworm, you know, those are...
it has to have serapeptase in it.
Has that serapeptase, which is the most powerful natural enzyme that stuff can eat through everything, but it works with your body. It's not going to burn your cells. So that serapeptase, and another one is nattokinase.
Right.
Nattokinase comes from a special type of fermented soy. It stinks. Right. And that's what, the Asians, a lot of times they're using that with their food. So, you figure, you want to go have some sushi. Well, you better know how to eat that sushi, because there's things that they're doing in the back room that you may not know about.
Right. But you get parasites. You get parasites, and they won't.
They won't. They don't have a problem. And they, 65,000 people a year die from the parasites just from sushi.
Right. Right.
Parasites are the #1 disease-causing factor, period, besides your mind and your thinking.
Right. Absolutely.
There's a really good book, Your Brain on Parasites.
Right. Right.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, you're breaking it down, because I tell people, get your systemic enzymes, because systemic enzymes clear up the scar tissue.
Yes.
They balance your immune system.
Yes.
And they're antiviral. We're talking about viruses. The systemic enzyme is antiviral. It cleans your blood, And when I say that the systemic enzymes balance your immune system, some people's immune system is too high. That's autoimmune.
Yes.
And some are too low. It balances it so that your immune system is operating properly. And the enzymes are the spark plugs of the body. So digestive enzymes are good with food.
Yes.
Systemic enzymes are good when you don't have food on your stomach, because if you put food in there, it's going to digest it. But if you eat systemic enzymes on an empty stomach, it clears away all kinds of gunk, as you were talking about, that plaque, the stuff in your blood. And this is stuff they don't have to go to the doctor to get. They can go buy this.
Funny story is, we were sitting in your office the last time we were together, and you had some systemic enzymes sitting there. You said, "Hey, doc, what are these?" And I was doing the little kinesiology test on it. Yeah. And I decided to open up and take one. I was on the way home and almost couldn't make it home. I had to pull off. I had to pull off at the mall and go to the bathroom. And this stuff was coming out of me like crazy. I was coughing up this mucus. Stuff was running out of my eyes. And I said, "What the heck was that?" I took one little pill.
It was a small one, right?
It was a little teeny little pill.
Yeah, that had the serapeptase. That has everything in it.
Man, whatever that was, I forgot to mention that test. I mean, I couldn't even make it home. I had to go in the mall. I don't usually use the restroom in public places.
I take a couple of different kinds, but I take that one. And during this time of COVID alert, I take a little extra. When I wake up in the morning, when I go to bed at night, but primarily I'm loading and coating myself with my meditation and my prayer, and my good hydration, working out, but I was doing that before COVID. COVID didn't suddenly say, "Oh, I'm going to go to the gym or do yoga." We're talking about a way of life that sustains
and that's
you
important.
When stuff comes.
Because people a lot of times come to me for emergency medicine. You know how my answer machine says, if this is an emergency, call 911. Because, the natural medicine is not emergency medicine usually. So having those enzymes in your system throughout the year, and just, even maybe eating with some papaya. Use the big papaya versus the Hawaiian papaya, because the Hawaiian papaya is a man-made crossbreed. It doesn't have as much pampain, as much of the enzyme. It's good, tastes nice and sweet. Yeah. But the big papaya, the Mexican ones, the ones from the Caribbean are the best. Also eat the seeds. The seeds of oh my gosh, they're beautiful. Ginger is a really good natural enzyme. And even, people eat the fried rice with the pineapple. That pineapple is saving them from the grease in that fried rice.
The pineapple's breaking down the grease.
They're breaking that grease down, man. You know what I'm saying? So enzymes are very important.
Before we go any further, I know a lot of people are tuning in. They're talking down here on the bottom. I want them to know who you are. I want them to know how they can be in contact with you. And people are asking, is this being recorded? This is being recorded. And as soon as we finish our interview, it will be on my Instagram page.
Yes.
If Dr. B wants it, I'll give him a link. You can put it on yours as well.
Yes, I will.
But it will be on my Instagram page. It'll be there. You can tell your friends about it and watch it. But tell them how they can be in contact with you.
Well, my website is elevationtime.com. That's elevationtime.com. And my phone number is 323-931-1212.
You giving away your phone number?
Yes.
You giving away your phone number, all these people?
You can contact me pretty easy. 323-931-1212. So that's elevationtime.com. Or you can call me at 323-931-1212. And then I'm, Doctor, DOCTAH, the letter B, on Facebook and on Instagram. Now, let me tell you right now, I don't answer anybody. I don't use Messenger. You got to call me, email me or something, because I don't use Messenger on my phone because I don't like it. It's a little nosy. So I don't use that. So contact me the traditional way. And a lot of times if you're having an issue, I might need to talk to you and find out what's going on, because you may have an issue that's actually caused by something else. It could even be subconscious, which I do the subconscious alignment work, the psychological kinesiology, and I teach these things also. But the main thing that I wanted to mention was parasites. They finally said on the news that this basically corona is a microparasite. If your body is full of, they finally said it. I was waiting for them to say it. So if your body is full of parasites, and if you're living on the planet, you've got them. I don't care how much vegan and raw, if you're a fruitarian or airtarian, you're going to have parasites. They're natural. They live everywhere. They're in every environment. They're there. So, in 1996 is when I had a experience in the Bermuda Triangle. And I was an herbalist at that point, but I wasn't into parasites. I had this missing time, and I was on the Carnival cruise boat. They had to go there because of Storm Eduardo. Something happened, and all I began to study was parasites. And I realized that there's mental, physical, spiritual, energetic, and even transdimensional parasites, things that use you. In fact, you got friends and family that's parasitic. They're always calling when they need something. That's basically like a parasite. They don't bring anything to the party, but these things
I know
use
a few people like that, by the way.
I know you do.
They're takers and not givers.
They don't give anything. They come to the party, leave beer.
But they always got the handout. You give me this.
It's like you give a party, and they want music, they want drinks, they want food, and at the end they leave early. They don't stay to help clean up. Well, where are my friends? Well, I gotta go. I got to another engagement. See you later, Dr. B. Great party. And that's what the parasites do, man. So there's over 2,000 parasites, and a lot of them are what they call zoopic. They move from animals into people. They started in animals, you see. So we have got to detoxify our body every time the seasons change if you would like to be at your best health level. You see what I'm saying? Because the parasites are going to use your system. They eat your cells. They get to your best nutrition. So what? You're eating all this great food. You know what I'm saying? You ate 20 pounds of kale today. But guess what? The parasites will get to that quicker than you. Because they got there first.
And sometimes when you're hungry, you're not hungry. The parasites are really hungry.
The parasites. And there's some that have these little tentacles that, connected to your nervous system, will send impulses to your brain. Right. One of the most famous parasites in the world is called Toxoplasma. Please study Toxoplasma. Now, one of my teachers, Dr. Kwaku Ando, said that Toxoplasma is a drone. Check this out. It's not a parasite. It's the drone of these beings that landed on the planet 6,000 years ago. Now, I don't know, but they control your mind. They control your perception of love, peace, harmony, and they play with your perception of fear. So a lot of times you're afraid of something that you have no knowledge of. You don't even know what it is, and you're just afraid. You're just nervous. Your adrenaline is pumping, cortisol is pumping, and you don't even know anything about this. But they play with your perception of love. They play with your perception of courage. This is big right now. Because people are afraid of something, right, that weakens their immune system. They're afraid of things that haven't happened yet. You're like, you think that you're reading the future. No, you're reading the fear in this parasite, which started out in cats,
right?
Which keeps this is how the mouse will just walk out and forget that it's a mouse and just walk in front of the cat and not run.
Right.
But what happened was, at the feedlots, when I went to the feedlots, this is what blew my mind, where they grow the animals, right? It's dark, it's damp, it's, you know, this is one of the worst things I've ever been involved with these, you know, when I went there, I almost died in there. And I realized that the floor was full of all this craziness, crap. But here was the thing. There was lots of cats and rats. So I asked the guy who was giving us the tour, why is there all these cats and rats? He says, well, wherever there's rats, there's going to be cats. And he says, but they help us. I said, how do they help us? They keep the animals from running away. What? He says, yeah, they got a little parasite, and that parasite gets in the cows, chickens, and pigs. They eat it. They never run away. You see, what do you think? They just stay here, keeps them, you know, domesticated. I was like, what are you saying? He says, oh, yeah, this is big. He says, and also, it's in some of the shots that you get. Some of those shots you got as a child. But they give it to the military. And the guy, and I think Dr. Sapolsky talks about how this may be what the military is giving folks, because what would make you run towards bombs? You know, if you're a human being, you hear bombs and you see fire and explosions, what would make you run towards it? Usually you're running to save your own life. But this parasite, Toxoplasma, which lives in the amygdala or the amygdalae, controls your perception of things. So It keeps you from being free. It keeps you always looking for freedom instead of freeness. It keeps you always talking about the problems. You know, a lot of times clients come to me and they sit in my office and I say, well, what would you like? For an hour, they talk about what they don't like. They mention the problem. I said, well, what would you like?
Hey, listen, the same thing, man. I tell people all the time, if you're talking more about your issues than about possibility, you're going to stay in the issue.
Yes.
That's just pure metaphysics.
They're talking more about their issues than their tissues. What's going on? What would you like? And after I work with them for a while, and we form what's called a language syntax, a language that your subconscious can understand. It's a very simple computer code. And basically, we have to get them to only focus on their desire. Well, I just want to make more money. Is that what you really want? More money? Or would you like to lay on the beach and have a pina colada and have coconut oil being rubbed on you? Oh, yeah, that's what I like. Well, let's focus on the outcome. Don't focus on the problem. I don't want to hear about how. That's none of your business. I've heard you say this so many times.
Yeah,
how is none of your business? You're nosy.
Right. Let the law work. Let the law work.
Let the law work.
We're going to have to wrap this up in a second, but I just want to tell people, I've done your parasite cleanse.
Yes.
At the change of the seasons. And I want people to know that it tastes good too.
Yes.
The different elixirs that we would take every single day and build up. It's not nasty. It's something you look forward to, and you clean out your brain, all the parasites, if there are any there, in the brain and in the body. And so he's not promoting that himself, but I just want to let you guys know that he does have a powerful parasite cleansing technology, as well as, if you go to his website, is your stuff up on the website?
Yes, everything is on the website. In fact,
you can just go to the website. You can just see what's there and see if what ails you, if there's something there that matches. But what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, because we're going to have to stop soon, I'm going to do an extra Zoom call with you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
10, 20 minutes, and I'm going to put that on my app for people to tune into the part 2 on the app.
Really? You got an app?
Yeah, I got an app. You should get it.
We need to talk about that. I need your app, and then I need an app too.
Very good. We will talk about it. You just go to michaelbbeckwith.tv, subscribe to the app, and then you go to the App Store and you get the app. Beckwith Inspires. So I'm going to have, I'm going to have meditations. I'm going to have affirmations. I'm going to have all kinds of things on the app, behind the scene things that I'm doing. I'm going to talk to you in a few moments and put some extra stuff on the app where you're concerned. It's good. A lot of people are starting to subscribe to it. You can subscribe for free. There's a premium level at a couple of dollars a month or something like that gives you access to more stuff. I'm going to do a virtual meditation on the app shortly. A 3-day meditation. It's going to be, you go to my app and I'm going to run you through 3 days of meditation. It's going to be great. And I
sent you just a little while ago 4 of my medicine music projects. So I still make music, but it's all metaphysical. It's all healing using the 432 frequencies and the 528. And I sent you 4 projects. And if you'd like to use any of that as the background of anything, go ahead. But the medicine music is really important.
Can I use it on Sunday during my way of meditation service?
Yes. You can use whatever you'd like.
Because
you have my permission.
Done. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it for the way of meditation service at 6:45 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, you'll start hearing your own stuff because I have some of those tracks that have that particular hertz on it, but I'd rather use somebody that I know.
Yes. Yeah, mine has got a lot of soul in it. It's a lot of drums and, you know, a lot of stuff that's very indigenous, and it's different than most of that stuff that sounds,
Right.
you know,
Right,
the standard stuff.
Me, I'll probably use it this Sunday.
Go ahead, use it. But
so
any
last comments you want to say to the people? I think that judging by the chats here, people are really inspired and really overjoyed in our conversation. Anything you want to say to them before we say goodbye?
Well, the first thing to remember is love. Love is life organically vibrating effortlessly. Love is life organically vibrating effortlessly. First, you have to love yourself and put things in your body that are loving, things that are going to be, you know, giving you nutrition. Don't eat things that eat you. And that's even got to do with hanging out with people. You know, you can't hang out with people. If you're an eagle, you don't hang out with pigeons. You know, you got to fly. Right. And, you know, parasites, it's very important right now, at this time more than ever, that you cleanse your body, detoxify your body to the root. Now, there's a lot of parasite cleanses out there. They're mostly colon parasites they're dealing with. We're dealing with systemic parasites. It's a whole different vibration, a whole different thing. So we have that. I also have a class. My first class is at the website. It's a life transformation class that you can take that gives you 7 things that you do each day to help you reach your goals. There's 7 simple things that, well, they're not simple if you've got bad habits, but if you use these as habits, these things will actually change everything about your life. So that course is there. I have free, you know, webinars and things that I'm doing. Make sure you're at Elevation Time on our email list, because usually once a month I'll do a webinar, which is supposed to be an hour and a half, which ends up lasting 3-4 hours because I share a lot. And some of those are already on the website if you'd like to. And I'll be glad when things clear up, Michael, so that I can come back out there, come back to Agape. And I used to love coming over there doing those classes and lectures because, you know, speaking to your people, they already knew. They were like, okay, Dr. B, enough of that. Get to the deep stuff. You know what I'm saying? I said, okay. But I really loved working, you know, all those years.
The Agape Nation is very, very, very powerful spiritual aspirants. They're very powerful group of people. And they study, they pray, they meditate. They inspire. They're great. I love the nation. It's a great. I love what I do, obviously, because I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you're still doing it. You've been doing it a long time, you know. And I really
is in its 34th year.
Wow, congratulations!
You know, and I was teaching way before I started Agape. You know.
Yes. Weren't you like in the living room with 2 people or something?
Well, even before that, you know, I had my workshops, my seminars, my one-on-one clientele, because I was a therapist, spiritual therapist for 7 years.
Wow.
You know, I worked one-on-one the way you're doing a lot with the subconscious mind and reprogramming. Yes. I did that for 7 years. And so that's why I knew. I mean, I don't have to read books about it. I know about the healing power of prayer and the transformation of one's life, because I've seen it over and over and over again, you know.
Right.
So I'm just getting started, just like you're. Verdine White calling me.
Oh, tell Verdine I said what's happening.
I will.
It's time for his next package.
I'll call him back after this. But hey, thank you for being with me, man. Thank you for coming in today. People really were inspired by what you had to say, because I had to change this conversation, or at least introduce into the conversation for many people other than what they're watching on the news, because they're not getting anything other than wash your hands and stay away from people and stay inside and wear a mask. And that's minimal. You have to have the real stuff, which is your nutrition, your herbs, your vitamins, your exercise, your vitamin D from the sun. You know, you have to have the real deal to stay healthy, because as Steve Harriman said, the great quantum physicist, he said 90% of the people that get COVID get through it without that many symptoms, which means that their immune system was great. You know?
Yes, it was working correctly.
We want more people like that are strong enough to withstand anything that comes down the pike, you see, whether it's man-made or whether it's from nature. But you got to be strong. The immune system has to be strong. So thank you for really bringing that home today.
And I put a package in the mail for you today with a product called X Factor. X Factor is one of the strongest natural antiviral products on the planet. In fact, it has some of the same things that they're using in Madagascar and in Asia. Oh yeah, it's very powerful. And we've had it for a while. We never put it on the site because usually we only deal with situations that are really, deep. So I sent you some. It is now on the website. I was forced to put it up there. It's called X Factor. So check it out in your package. And also, I just want to thank you for all the years and years and years. I just think it was interesting that you and I would always be at KPFK doing interviews, but we didn't meet each other. We would always, they said, well, did you meet Michael Beckwith? I said, no. And it would be back and forth. And it was Kev Mo's wedding when we really connected. In fact, Kev Mo's being featured. I have a metaphysical jazz album coming out. And Kev Mo and India.ee and other people are, going to be on this project.
Kev Mo just called me last week.
Yeah, that's my brother right there. It's the first musician I met.
Him and his wife just called. And of course, I'm on India.ee's latest video. She had me. And I just interviewed her. We all run in the same circles here. We don't run with vampires.
That's right. We don't. You see what I'm saying? We run with lovers.
We run with lovers of God and lovers of humanity. That's right.
I just want to thank you for all the support that you gave me, and when I was there in Los Angeles. I know you were sad I left, but I had to go. I needed trees. So I just want to thank you and all the work that you're doing and helping the people. And I love you. I love the dancing, man. And man, to keep dancing, keep moving. Be optimistic. I was like, oh, he's playing my song, man. I wanted to redo that record, but it was, I can't redo it better than the original, so leave it alone. So I just want to thank you for this time, for this session, and for what you're doing, because we really need that. What you're doing is the medicine we need for the mind. Come to me for the herbs. I got the products. Go to the website, elevationtime.com, and please keep checking out this brother here, because this brother is one of the most powerful brothers in the flesh on the planet now. I love you very much, and tell the family I'll be there to see them soon once I can fly and not have to be in quarantine for however amount of time.
Very good.
So we'll be free soon. So thank you very much, brother.
Hey, you stay strong. Give Vashti my love. Give your wife my love.
Yes.
I'll talk to you soon, bro.
Travel light.
I'm going to do it. Peace.
All right. Peace.
There you have it, everyone. Dr. B with us today. Appreciate the conversation. It was great. As I close this down in a few moments, it will be on my Instagram page, and you can tell all your friends about it, because it's a necessary conversation for this particular time that we're all growing through in human history. Until I see you again, remember, you can get my app today, michaelbbeckwith.tv, subscribe to it, and then go to the App Store and get Beckwith Inspires, MBB. agapelive.com. Stream into my services every Sunday, 6:45, 8:30, 11 o'clock, and we'll continue. Just go to the website. You see we have every ministry is online now, and you can participate in ways that you need. Even our prayer ministry, you can call the prayer ministry and have a potent prayer on a regular basis. Have a bright day. Thank you for tuning in.